questions on the treasurer's report for this month, after the meeting tonight? Usually I know I send it around beforehand to everybody and I totally flaked on that.
I should have emailed it.
So, I'll make sure that either Christy or myself email that to everybody. So most of the income, as you probably know, that we meeting. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look through those notes. It was like the world's fastest general PTA meeting. I think I did it in like 4.5 minutes. But we did get everything needed that we needed to do for the year. We got the budget approved as we had proposed it. We got the check signers approved, which we did go to the bank and we already handled that a couple of weeks ago. So the checking account is in good standing for the check signers for any of our expenses or reimbursements that need to be done this year. And then obviously we also had approved the standing rules for the year. So we got all of the main business we needed to get done this year. I didn't miss something, so we don't have to have another emergency general meeting like I did last year for one thing. So woo, second year's a charm. I actually got it all in and did it right the first time around. So any questions on the August general meeting notes? If you didn't receive them, once again, Christy, if you could help me remember to send those around. I think Heather had sent them around right after the general meeting, so that would have been right around the end of August. So they might have gotten buried in all of the onslaught of what we've had going on.
So, do you want me to just send everybody the August minutes with the bank?
Yes, please, if you can. And if you have any trouble finding it in the shared drive, let me know.
I saw it this morning.
Okay, perfect.
I didn't get lost.
Any discussion, open nominees? I did talk to Sarah Mitchell last week. She is still willing, able, wanting to help out with any of the mental health programming and stuff that we have going on. So she is already reaching out to our mental health vendors and resources, both the ones that she has as contacts through UCOM, as well as the ones that DCPS has relationships with and that Ms. Anderson has recommended to get the vendor fair that we're going to tie into the College Showcase College Fair up and running. So hopefully we'll hear from those vendors, provide mental health providers soon in terms of their availability and hopefully attendance at that event. So I would like to just nominate Sarah for this year's health and safety chair, just so that she has a formal position on the committee.
I second.
Michelle, well, you have to first.
Oh, I first.
Lindsay said, so Michelle first, because I'm not allowed to do it. I mean, Lindsay seconded, all in favor.
Aye.
All right. So that way Sarah has a formal position and a representative. I do need to remind her again, I don't think she has updated her membership
Yes,
yet.
membership.
So I need to remind her to get her.
As a community person.
Yeah.
This is how she
And her grandparent and her.
Yes.
Yeah. So right now I don't have anybody else. I did reach out to Rosie, who had originally said that she would like to do some work for us as a business partner chair. Unfortunately, her partner in her real estate agency or real estate firm had a sudden death in the family. And as we all know, because I think almost all of us went through it these last couple of years, we know how much that can derail the best of intentions and your time. And I got the feeling that her partner was going to be pretty much MIA. So I'm not surprised I haven't heard back from her. So I really would like, because we're trying to make a push for these business partnerships this year, to have somebody kind of take over that. One, to keep trying to push and drum those up, but two, to have somebody to make sure we're staying on top of the things like the newsletter posts and the other things that we've promised to our partners that we will be doing. And so just having somebody that says, hey, Carolyn or Kristen, it's time for that Facebook post for our partner, or it's time to do the goodie bags for the teachers, or it's time to do, we promised our business partner certain things, and I want to make sure that we're delivering on those items. So if you know of anybody, and this is definitely one of those positions that they wouldn't have to be at school, because their job is going to be networking and reaching out to our local businesses, whether that's our alumni businesses or whether it's other businesses. in the community, just to try to encourage those business partners to get more involved, and whether it's at $100 level or $1,000 level, um, just to invest back into DA. And those business partnerships are an easy way to make sure that we have funding for all the programs that we're hoping to sponsor this year. So if you know of anyone, or if there's anybody on the call who wants to coordinate, Mary's laughing at me. You forget that her husband is our biggest business partner. let me put her to work on top of it. If we have anybody that's willing to both make those connections to our local businesses, as well as just keep on top of us, meaning me, and especially Kristen, since poor Kristen is the one I make do all of these posts. If there's anybody who's willing to just, even if it's a simple spreadsheet saying, hey, it's time for the second quarter posting, or it's time for the monthly newsletter release,
I
or
can
it's time.
do the tracking, but I don't want to do the networking.
You don't want to do the networking. Okay.
Well, just to be somebody that can,
Yeah.
like, because didn't Heather start a spreadsheet too of like people we've reached out to? So
I
we don't have
believe
30.
she
So even
did.
if you just
Yeah.
kind of be the organizer and we kind of check with you, because I don't
Yeah.
mind
Yeah, or
working
you,
on it. But I don't
or
wanna,
you just saying, Carolyn and Kristen, we need to make
Yeah.
the quarterly post, or we need to remember in the principal's newsletter this week that it's time to thank our business partner, or
I can do the back end stuff.
the back end. Okay. So any if you know of anyone, or if you are someone who doesn't mind going to our local business partners and saying, hey, will the beauty, but also the drawback for us as DA is we don't have a community, if you will. The good part is we're everywhere. So I mean, in theory, we could hit up businesses everywhere, including Clay, Nassau, St. John's, because our students are everywhere. But that's also the downside, because a lot of business partners are like, well, you're not in my neighborhood. You're not my neighborhood school. And so, because our school doesn't draw from a particular neighborhood. So, for example, where we live in St. John's, Creekside is always going to hit up the Durbin families and the Creek and Julington Plantation families, because all of us live in that area. That's our school. Those are our businesses we go to. And so it's easy to kind of sell that idea sometimes to the business, because you're like, listen, you got 4,000 families right here with, who are part of the school. So sometimes it is a little harder to sell to our community businesses, but I know Lindsay, you had mentioned maybe an in on alumni businesses, or knowing, and I know I had talked to Buddy as well, because he's part of several large alumni groups, and trying to get some names of alumni businesses to see if those alums would be willing to not only, hey, at least consider becoming an alumni member, but
Yeah.
would your business be willing to also step in and sponsor something for us or with us? But Lindsay, if you could, one, take care of the
Yeah.
tracking, because I do want to make sure that the few community partners we do have are that we're honoring our obligations and our promises to them. But then, if you know of anybody who's gung ho and doesn't mind going out and talking to people about, hey, would you like to become a business partner or a business sponsor? Or even it's just drawing up a list for us to send an email or make a phone call to. So that Sarah's is only, so we'll put Lindsay down for assisting and tracking with that.
and we can't forget we have students with businesses. I'm working on the orchestra chip.
Okay.
Young lady.
Yeah,
So-
we actually have a young lady who's in orchestra who has her own t-shirt design business, who voiced an interest in becoming a business partner.
Nice.
And my vote is, if she steps up and does the $100 partnership, I'm giving her everything the $1,000 partnership says. Because
and I even offered, like, if we can get you in at a $50 level, just to get you in, we'll figure something out.
Yeah,
Like, I haven't even reached out officially. I just like told Bella to start
yeah.
talking
Oh,
here.
All right, membership update. Where are we?
We are at 555 members. We have 364 parent guardians, 159 students, 16 community, 14 grandparents, and 2 others. You make sure my parents want that.
I think that grandparent count is wrong, because I feel like I watched it and a couple of us said we just joined our grandparents or added them. And I feel like, I don't know, I wish I guess I, mean, I know I can look in there, but I don't know how to.
I
I
really
know I
tell to
did,
make
I had
sure.
already done my mom when I did
WRITC,
our family
yeah.
membership, and then I just
Yeah.
did my dad and my stepmom ones.
All right.
My dad's like, I got an email from some PTA. I'm like, yes, you did.
Well, in relation to that, I
I can
signed.
give a PTA membership to my in-laws for Christmas.
Exactly.
Well, and I bought one for my friend because she gave me money and she wouldn't take it back. And I said, well, now you're in my PTA. But she said she went to Kid and they were like, we don't know what you're talking about. We don't do discounts. So she had to call a manager. And I was like, do we need to like send a reminder? Like,
That's
she even
interesting.
said to them, like, hey, look, your logo's on the page. Like, I'm not making it up. And
That's weird.
yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't look good when the county, because those are the county.
That's what I was
people
gonna
that,
say,
you
it's
know,
not
they're
even
offering
us,
discounts through
it's-
DCC PTA. All right, so obviously that 555 doesn't include our teachers yet. We still have to do our teacher memberships, but that still puts us, 60 or so below where we were hoping to be. So, I mean, we're kind of at the point where we are going to have to start moving our posts and stuff more to the events that we have coming up, but obviously membership is still important. I took a quick look last night and last year, not surprisingly, I think August was our busy month showcase because we had people join for showcase. September last year was really low, but then somehow in October, November, we got another big push of memberships. So I'm hoping.
I'm trying to figure out when I did Carburetor.
So I'm hoping
I'm
we can
looking
keep
at it.
encouraging memberships and talking to, I mean, because what's distressing to me is 159 students, because, okay, parents, that makes sense, 364, because usually, random 2 parents per kid. So we've only reached, if you look at students, less than 200 of our students out of what are we at this year? Out of 978. So, I mean, I think that that's something, and I know that that's usually not something kids sign themselves up for. It's something the parents do for the kids or on behalf of the kids. But I'm, hoping that through reflections, which we'll talk about, and through other, ways, we can try to get more students to join and to. Yeah, well, we had set up a business partner competition for business partnerships to encourage the arts areas to, to encourage business partnerships. And so far, that hasn't really gone very far. We had discussed the possibility of maybe doing a membership, but it's hard to figure out, like, how do we do it? Do we do it by arts area,
By grade.
I mean, because if we do it by arts areas, there's such disparity between the
Yeah.
sizes of the arts areas, like how do you, I mean, do you go by last year that you had a higher percentage of members this year over last year? Do you do it just by 9th grade, 10th grade, do you do it by grade level? So those are ideas that we're open to, and this is kind of that time. Cam, I know you're here for college campus cleanup, so we'll get there, I promise. So those are the things. So I mean this is kind of that portion of any ideas anybody has, whether it's okay, let's do an individual membership. We promised the kids a pizza party if they got the business partnerships. Really hasn't gone very far, even though we went and talked to almost all of the arts areas already. I believe so. I think that was one of the early, like either August, maybe one of the August ones, as well as general membership. I mean, we can try again. We have it electronically. We can send it to you again if you'd like us to. But do we want to do a grade level membership competition? I mean, right now, I think seniors are kicking everybody's butts. At least kind of, yeah. At least, oh, gee, I wonder why. Because the whole PTA board has senior students.
I would recommend doing it by grade level, kind of mix it up, and
Mhm.
then it's probably more even.
Yeah, I mean, by grade level, it's probably slightly more balanced. I mean, I think the senior class is the smallest. Yeah. So, but I mean, if we do it by percentage of the class, percentage of the grade level versus number, then that should keep it a little more even.
Sorry to
No,
interrupt.
go ahead.
I do know that I was waiting until October for it to cool down a little bit to do the car rider, because I don't remember exactly when I did it last time. When I did it.
Well, Heather made the point to me the other day in talking about what should we do to drum up more, and she said, they start to fall out when October, that beginning of October hits, everybody, oh, the year's been started, so we have to try to
Yeah,
like she said, we need to do sooner than later.
Yeah.
So we're not waiting, and then we get to the holidays and they don't want to put their money, like, oh, $10 more here,
that too.
But I'll try to help you, it's just that's like the trickiest time, but if I try to figure out a way to.
And
plan
what do we
ahead-
want to give them if we're going to do a grade level competition? What can we afford to give them as a reward? That's the other thing. And then how do we coordinate it? I mean, do we do popsicles at lunch? Do we do, something, what do we do as a competition? What are we going to give them as a grade level, 200 kids? What are we going to give them as a reward if their grade level does win? That's the other thing to consider. I mean, we can't afford to feed pizza to 220 kids and 200 kids. I mean, that absorbs any money that would have been made from the membership fees. So what do we, that's the other thing to consider is what do we want to give them as a, do we want to, what can we do?
Ice cream social or something, at least that, it would add up, but at least it would be.
I have to look up this partnership. Cool, okay. So,
Upwards, cheapish.
yeah.
gain traction or not. But for every member, it's going to be a competition.
Ooh,
Yeah.
So that costs
that would be awesome.
Yes. Let's get excited. Sorry, I'm treasurer now.
You're like,
Carolyn, can you repeat that?
The school has the Busy Bucks program this year where students can earn Busy Bucks to use towards rewards. And so Mr. Fagans was saying that, every student member could get Busy Bucks, both those who are existing as well as any new ones. I mean, we could do it for a certain period of time or, between now and December or now and November, whatever it may be. And they would get a certain, yeah, that's what. Exactly. Sooner versus later. Because I mean, if we do it through the end of October, maybe that way it's cut off before the holidays. Every student member and new member gets a certain number of Busy Bucks to. So we could do that. That would be awesome because, like you said, that doesn't really cost. I love it. I love not costing me a thing, and my treasurer approves. All right, so I guess we just need to figure out how many Busy Bucks to get. Okay.
because we purchased the package. The rewards are stretched.
Yeah.
So if we offer too many.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay. No, that sounds great. I mean, that's a. Exactly. And if and if we could get 200 students, that would at least make, you know what I mean? Like it kind of breaks my heart when I see that we've got almost 600 members and only 159 of them are students. So I mean, I know it's typically parents and teachers and that's what people focus on, but we're a PTSA for a reason because we want the student involvement. So encouraging the parents and the children to join, or the grandparents and the children. I would even wager we probably have some grandparent members whose grandchildren aren't members. So no, I like that idea. I mean, we can definitely come back around to the grade level competition. If the Busy Bucks doesn't work out, maybe next we can try a grade level competition. And by then we'll know budget wise what we can afford to give them. Maybe we could do it around Christmas. And when we do the teachers holiday cart, we could do something special for the kids who are like PTA members. If they get something with holiday card or something of that nature.
Maybe just cross our fingers too that while we're looking for like our tenders and all these other food things, maybe we build something where we can offer a treat or something that even if we got a discount, it would be you know, affordable to, and you
Right.
know, food, it's the way to their hearts. so
Yeah,
it
always.
just-
Um,
Unfortunately.
Yes, it is.
yeah, the kids like. September, I know we had mentioned senior night in passing. Do you know if they finalized a night for?
September
Okay, because I know we had talked, Heather's not here, and I know this was something Heather had. I think we had thought about selling dinners or snacks or something
Yeah.
at that, and I think we even put the ARF in already,
Yeah.
so we just need to
Okay.
coordinate what we're going to do in terms of that, and who's coordinating and picking up kind of thing,
Yep.
so,
That was priority right now, looking for chicken.
okay, so you're working on that?
I didn't think I was alone, but I'm definitely got it on my list to start trying to find at least
Okay.
something being donated.
All right, I'll maybe loop in you and Heather and see what we can get going between it. Because I know Sarah just said she's kind of exhausted, so she can't ask personally
I have time
anymore.
tomorrow too, so I can probably at least start with, you know, the typical Winn-Dixie and all that.
Okay.
Just stop in and see who's at
Okay.
work tomorrow.
Just because we'll want to kind of get an idea of what we're going to do so we can start advertising it and letting people know that it'll be here. And then, you know, if the chicken or whatever isn't going to pan out, even if we just do concession snack sales like the arts areas do for event, you know, chips,
Right.
candy bars, waters,
Water.
Candy.
you know, that still goes over really well and
We can always resell it another.
exactly, or use it for another event. If you don't sell all the chips, you can use them for the next go around. So,
This announcement.
okay, so we just need to
Yeah.
finalize our ideas. If we
Yeah.
don't think we have the manpower and stuff to do the chicken, then I say we just do simple snack concession sales. Kristen, what do you think of that for senior night?
I think simple is good. I mean, so many of us are senior parents. I personally, I know I need to hear what is being said. So if we could loop in other parents, that can help sell too.
That's kind of what we brought up last time was like, who's gonna take over when we sneak off?
Mhm.
Because most of us are sneaking off, so
Yeah.
I guess that's what we'll open it.
Okay, well, I mean, because I didn't have a definite date, so I mean, we can definitely put a sign up genius together. I mean, but we can also stop concession sales once the meeting starts, because we want people in the meeting. I mean,
Gotcha.
Yep.
so I mean, be there beforehand to promote. Yeah, well, that's true too. So, all right, so we may need to revisit that. I mean, we already got it. We did get it approved already, so sorry. Jen likes me. All right, so Cam is here with us. Cam is one of our partners this year. Cam and Quimby have a son here with us. They are freshman parents, and Cam's company is Sea of Green, and so he is working with us along with Mulch Masters to get campus cleanup up and running on October 4th. So I had sent around everybody kind of the proposed ideas in terms of plants that Buddy had proposed. And so we did agree to spend, we had allocated 500 for Campus Cleanup College Showcase kind of as an umbrella this year. And we are still going to spend about 300 of that on the plants and things that are needed for our refresh. Cam, I don't know if you saw, we also got the approval from Mr. Fagans to utilize that extra soil, mulch, and sand that are left over. So we have the sand base we need to put in, hopefully that paver walkway or rock walkway there by Martha Math. If you guys haven't met Martha Math, she is the new mascot for Building 15, which is the math building. She is a manatee statue that's like 8 feet tall. That's covered with math symbols and stuff that make me cringe because I was one of those. You know that, like, if there's like a Far Side cartoon that says he keeps putting the math books in the horror section, yeah, that would have been me when I was in school. We did publish the Sign Up Genius last week to start getting volunteers for that day. I think the biggest thing, Cam, is, and I was hoping Buddy was going to make it tonight too, is, you know, we had talked about doing some cleanup on the backside of the dance alleyway. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we have some sort of container to put the leaves and the trash that have accumulated. to put the leaves and the trash into. So do we have any suggestions in terms of that type of situation, as well as also the paver? We had talked about the paver walkway. So
We've got a lot of trash.
yeah, we've got trash bags and stuff. I mean, that stuff will probably just go directly from like a wheelbarrow into the
Okay.
trailer. I mean, it might be better to put it in bags. I don't want it to blow away. It is a lot of dead oak tree leaves. But we'll figure. Awesome. So having a trailer that day, and then we're good on the pavers for the walkway and everything. That's perfect. The only other thing we have to take into consideration as it was brought to my attention that apparently we have the SAT on campus that day. And it is over in building 16, which is right next to Martha, building 15. And so they definitely ask that we try to keep it quiet on that side of campus until the SAT is done. So we are going to have to be conscious that anything we're doing over there, like power equipment wise, not be done until after like 11:30. So if we have anything we need to use power equipment to like prep the walkway or do anything, we may need to meet earlier or do that a different day, or we're going to be doing a lot of stuff afternoon in that area. So we could definitely do like the weeding or other quiet type activities. We don't have to totally avoid the courtyard or the amphitheater area, but we definitely need to keep the noise to a minimum because we do want the students to have the best opportunity to have a good environment for that test. It's already stressful enough for them. So anything like pressure washing, anything else, it's all going to start on the DuBois side of campus. And if we make it that far, we make it that far, but we won't make it that far until the kids are done and off campus. So that was something when we originally picked the October 4th day back in January last year. Obviously, we didn't even have dates for the SAT test yet. So this is just something we're just going to have to flex around and do our best and just be mindful. Those of you who are here with me that day, we're going to be hall monitors in that area, reminding people to just if they're working in that area, to keep the noise level to a minimum. Um, I think as long as we're not using any power tools, power equipment, it should probably be okay. But even still, if you walk through the area and it's starting to get, we don't usually have a rowdy, raucous group. I mean, we're all usually too tired to be really loud. But just if you're in that area, if you notice like people are throwing tools down and they're clanging or banging or whatever, we just need to remember to try to keep it as quiet as possible for the students. So that was the only thing I was going to bring up with you and Buddy Cam. I know there's like a large route in the area we wanted to put the pathway and that kind of thing. So that may be stuff that we have to try to take that route out ahead of time. If it's going to, I mean, it's pretty hefty. I think we're going to need a sawzall or something else to get it out. So we may have to try to do that in advance just to avoid trying to use any power tools in the area because I want to keep it nice and all right, just keep me posted. And if I need to meet you here or have Mr. Franklin meet you, I know we try to be, or if you and Buddy need to meet or whatever, just to plan that. But I really appreciate you donating the pavers. If you let me know kind of the general value of the pavers and the trailer, what we'll do is write you an in-kind donation form. And that way that's a write-off for your company for you since we're a nonprofit.
So when you do come to the campus, just make sure you check in at that gate. I don't want my officer.
Did you hear that, Cam? Mr. Fagan said when you do come to campus, make sure you do the check-in procedure and everything else because we don't want the SRO to take you out. He takes his job seriously, thank goodness. So we'll take that every day, all day. I think we're on a good path with college with campus cleanup. The biggest thing is just going to be pushing for the volunteers, and sharing the link for the sign up and everything. We still have a couple weeks away. A lot of people, aren't even thinking about that weekend yet, but we do need to probably send out an email with the sign up genius, as well as doing the posts on social media that Kristen has already worked on. Mr. Fagans can put that in the newsletter. So I'll remind Heather when she sends out the next to make sure she shares the link for the newsletter as well.
I'll bring a second.
Yeah, well,
After Nutcracker.
we will need it. By the time you get here around 11, we'll be needing the second
But
win.
just remember that, because if you need me to pick anything up, ice, for
Yeah.
coolers for cold water, that's important. So
Yeah.
keep that in. I was seriously saying, like,
Yeah.
so you can tell me what to stop and get on
Yeah,
my way.
I'm not working in the succulent garden this year, so I don't bleed all over myself.
Yeah.
I bled everywhere. The front succulent garden, it
Oh.
stabbed me. I had blood all, and I guess I wiped so that it was on my face. And he's talking to me, and blood's dripping off my hand. I didn't even know. I was like, "This is." And we had met like twice before that, so that was a
You're
great
like,
impression. Hi, thanks so much
That's
for coming.
scary.
Hey, I'm just bleeding everywhere. It's fine. So I think we've got a good lot of plans. We talked about where we need the refreshing, since we already have some mulch left over from the amphitheater. That's going to allow us to refresh a lot of these areas. And really, poor Building 15, they asked for us to give their building some love last year, and we tried our best. But then between the weather and the kids walking through the area, and then the amphitheater construction, I think there's 2 plants remaining out of like the 20 or 25 that we planted. So I'm hoping with this new actual formalized walkway and planting bed area and now that Martha's there, that they will have the lovely end of their building and the side of the amphitheater that we would like to see and like to have. So Cam, thank you so much for your work with that. It's much appreciated. I'm so excited this year to get this done, because, as we were talking about when we did the walk around, a lot of the plants have matured beautifully. Some of them just need to be trimmed back. They need some love. They need just a little bit of TLC, some freshening up. So it's really nice to see the last 2 years we've spent roughly $800 to $1,000 in plants alone. And so it's nice that we could do $300 in plants this year, and that, that's enough to spruce things up and give it new life. So, I mean, it's so many of the plants, some of them have faded. There's areas of the school that they don't get a lot of light. They don't get a lot of water. The teachers tried their best to keep them alive as they could. We know Mr. Fagans is not averse getting out there with even in his suit and watering plants when he needs to. So, I mean, it's just really nice to see where the campus has come from where we started this project 3 years ago to now where it is. So it's come a long way, and it's nice to see. So thank you so much, Cam. I'm so glad to have you and your company on board with us this year. I'm really excited. College showcase, it kind of worked out for us this year that we've got those 2 days before to do setup. So Kristen, kind of, I know the sun, I don't know if you guys can see, the sun's kind of everywhere. So we do have the 13th and 14th for setting up your green room area. So I don't know. I know last year I kind of handled the sign up genius for the PTA side of things, like the checking in, checking out. You and theater handled the side of things with the green room. I didn't know if you still, I thought that worked really well last year. So I don't know if they would still do it that way.
Yep, we're planning to do it the same way again too. So as the communications person, I usually just send them all out at the same time. If you want to help with registration or you want to help with hospitality, here you go. So that is on my list to do like immediately tonight. Hopefully I'll have that finished and ready to go, just because being sensitive, it's during the day, during the work day that we need volunteers, and it's a lot of volunteers. So it does require some work finagling for most of our volunteers, but it's obviously very worth it. So the other thing I would just say about it is that I still have to do the activities request form for hospitality, but we do take, we probably only need the 14th for setup, Carolyn. I don't know if you want the 13th, but we're planning on setup day the 14th. And then if we can have the same classrooms, I think it's like room 50. It's Beeman's room, Miss Fry's room.
Mr. Fagans is saying yes.
Okay, Citrone across the hall was last year at least, and then I don't even know whose room. Yeah, it's 4 rooms. But we use them all.
He's nodding, so I'm assuming you got
Cool.
it.
I'll put that on my form. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so do you want to do the general volunteer or do you want me to draft it and just send you the link? Because I think I still have the one I did last year, so I can copy it and reuse it.
Yeah,
but-
that's what I'm doing with mine. If you don't mind, that would be great. And then send me the link and then we'll get both of them out.
Perfect. Sounds great. And that way, like you said, people can start planning for
Yeah.
that. Arts
And then-
area donations. Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, one last thing on the treasury. Thank you so much for collecting from the arts areas. Since Christy, I know this is your first year and Heather's not here, but the way we usually do it is PTSA, you hang on to what you collect. And then with the theater, when we go grocery shopping and whatnot, we give you those receipts and then we just get reimbursed from it.
That makes sense.
It's not my money.
Well, but you're the one who has to deposit it and then write the check, silly.
Gotcha.
So right now we do have piano committed to $150, which is what they had budgeted since they're such a small group. Creative writing with 250. I saw today the email from Vocal that they decided to do the 250 instead of doing the desserts. I'm kind of torn about that. Their desserts were awesome last year. We haven't heard from any others, and I had to miss the dance booster meeting last week because Katie had a dramatic emergency. So I haven't touched base with Jill or that group, although I need to because I have a bunch of candy bars for them. So I need to reach out to them to make sure dance is aware. I did read through the meeting minutes and they didn't mention it during the meeting. So I'm afraid that they haven't even connected with it yet since I wasn't there to remind them. So I will talk to Jill, who's Jill and Heather, and make sure that they remember that that is due. I know the next meeting is 9/22 at 11:30. So if I can, I'll try to make it that day. I think Kristen, you had planned on making it. So at least if one of us is there to kind of get up to
Yeah. My co-president Casey will be there, but I'll be at the next one. So
Okay, perfect.
one of us, yeah.
Have we heard from anybody else besides piano, creative writing, and vocal? Obviously, theater, we don't need to hear from. Theater usually absorbs more than their fair share of everything. So I know we don't really need to hear from them. But that leaves quite a few groups that we haven't heard from yet. I know we were trying to work with creative writing. They're having an issue with their checking account. I guess they can't get their updated checks and stuff. So, but I know Heather had given them a couple of different options for how to address that. I don't know what they decided or, if we're gonna wait for the check. I mean, if we don't get the check until the week of showcase, it's not that big, it's not that big a deal because you guys lay out the expense and we reimburse you. So if we have to wait a little bit for theirs, as long as it comes, we'll be okay. So,
I do have a quick question with
Mhm.
with Kristen saying that we collect the funds from the different art areas, then they submit the receipts. So has it ever happened where here's like $400 extra in receipts and
we haven't had that. Last year, we actually had the opposite happen where we collected money. That's still part of like the recurring. Heather has mentioned, we still kind of have like $500 and $600 last year that theater never requested reimbursement for that is kind of sitting in the account that's accessible. And then we also have the $200 out of our budget to contribute as well. And that's part of why usually we say $500 just for campus cleanup. This year we did $500 campus cleanup / college showcase. That way, if we could spend a little less on campus cleanup and leave a little cushion for college showcase, if we needed it to cover expenses, we would have it. The only other thing I can think of that we need to do, I know you had mentioned too, when vocal or creative, whoever asked for the itemized list of the budget, I know you had mentioned the Sign Up Genius or the Amazon shopping link. So I guess that would be the only other thing.
Yes, that's another link. Yep, I need to get that done.
Yeah, so we do need to get that Amazon shopping link up. That way for those booster groups that, don't have the cash to share if their members want to contribute in donation of items, whether it's the drinks or the snacks or whatever, they have that opportunity too. And I think that worked pretty well last year with some of the smaller groups in particular that, didn't have it in their budget to just give over a lump of cash, but they contributed, pretty healthily with bottled water or sodas or other things that are necessities. So that would be the only other thing that I hate to add to your to-do list, but we probably need to get up and running.
No, we had that from last year, so it's just fine tuning it.
Okay, perfect.
Now, how many colleges for college trips?
I don't know
Right
yet.
now,
So not too bad. That's going to be a crowded college fair.
Sorry, I can't hear Mr. Fagans. What was the number?
60.
Cool, thanks.
So, mental health fair. I know we did the form to do concessions and food sales. So to me, that would be if we're stretching ourselves thin on like food sales, especially with the concern about food in the depot. We definitely want to focus on food sales for this event. We know the food truck was a bomb last year, so if we're thinking of doing chicken sandwiches or something, this might be a better event to do that for, to stretch or ask for the donations for, because I definitely think we'll have a better chance of selling more at this event than we would at the senior night. So, if we want to kind of switch gears on senior night and at most do concessions that end ahead of time and remind them they can't take them inside. And then do the sandwiches or pizza at college fair, then that might be a better way. And that gives you time. And so you're not stressed this week about reaching out for donations.
And in terms of snacks,
Mhm.
like if we give them a bag of chips, there could probably be more likeliness of I'm just gonna bring it in the theater because I can. So do we just want to have like a cookie on a plate? That way it's like, I mean, I'm just throwing out ideas like what are we gonna pick? Like 'cause
Yeah,
that encourages them to eat it right then and there. but-
Yeah, you and I can talk about it after tonight. And we'll see if we want to proceed. Otherwise, we just sell memberships and waters or just have memberships in our water containers because that's gone over
And I still
really
have the
well.
lemonade.
And you still have lemonade.
Finally.
All right.
Okay.
You're like lemonade, please use the lemonade.
Well,
Um,
and I'll be there to help you guys that night.
So I'm also, I have a meeting this week with DA for Change. The main push for the meeting is grants because I am working on finalizing the grant write-up for them, which hopefully I'll be sending to you guys in the next couple of days. My grant write-up as well as the rubric, because National PTA actually gives you their grading rubric, if you will, because it's all based on a point system. And we already have 1 point because I attended an informational meeting. So we got 1 point. Even if we don't get any others, we got 1 point. But there's a series of 6 or 7 questions, and the maximum is worth like 4 points. And so I would love, including you, Mr. Fagans, because you're not busy enough. Once I get the grant proposal written up, to just give me some feedback about, if I was grading it, I would give you a 3 in this section and a 2 in this section, and oh, that's a 4, you did great there. The biggest thing they're looking for in any of these grant proposals, and I'm kind of skipping ahead, is that you're specific about what you're going to use the money for. We want to build community. How? How are you going to use that money to build community? We want to further the DA for Change program. How are you going to further the DA for what specifically? And you can always change your mind. It's not like they're going to say, hey, you said you were going to spend $1,000 of this grant on yoga classes during lunch and learn, and you only spent 500. They don't do that. There's not going to be an itemized bill at the end of it where we have to tell them exactly what we spent the money on. It's kind of a good faith thing. But your proposal does have to be specific about what you think you're going to use the funds, or how you think you're going to impact the school community with the funds. So that's the biggest thing I'll be looking from you guys, if you do have a chance to read through it for me, is was I specific enough about what the students want to do with that money? And that's the other thing, is this is a student engagement grant. And so the push of it is, how are the students making this program happen? How are the students leading the charge? So that's part of why I met briefly already with Miss Anderson, and the kids gave me some vague, like, we want to enrich our program and we want to do that. so I'm meeting with them, I think on the 18th, to say, okay, I need specific, if you had your dream, what do you think you would do? What would enhance it? Would it be yoga classes in the amphitheater during lunch and learn once a week and paying a yoga instructor to come? Would it be hosting goat yoga on a Saturday morning? These are just crazy ideas. What would you use that money if we had $5,000 to spend on mental health programming? And that's all it needs to be used for. It doesn't have to be used or isn't earmarked for anything else. What would you kids do with it? Like,
They probably say something like put a billion snacks with Miss Pierce so they can always go get something to eat.
but if that they feel is having a snack day that having a community snack day month for the student body is part of how they want to spend that money, and because students who are fed are healthy and blah. What if they want, the biggest thing they said is to make sure it's an attainable thing. They're like, grand, it doesn't have to be a grand pie in the sky, rewrite the universe idea. What we're looking for is an idea that shows, go ahead, that shows the kids being engaged, that shows the kids choosing these programs, and something that is attainable, because because if you write this grandiose program, we may or may not believe you're going to actually be able to pull it off. They're like, so, yeah, be a dreamer, but also be realistic about what you can make happen with that money or at your school or in your environment. So anyway, so I will be, where that tied in is I'm going to be asking the DA for Change kids to act as kind of ambassadors that night. Hey, definitely spend time going to the vendors, spend time at College Fair, but could I get you to save 30 minutes to welcome our guests and help them get set up, or to help break down, or to be there, so that the vendors are aware of who those kids are, who they are. I'm gonna also I will send out a sign up genius just to get us a couple of volunteers for that night, both for concessions as well as just for greeting and answering questions. Even if all they're doing is running back and forth between wherever I find myself and where they are because they have a question, or they need me to talk to Mr. Franklin about making an announcement, or whatever it may be. So I'll try to get us a few volunteers for that night, just to have extra hands on deck, so it's not just the 5 or 6 of us that are here doing everything.
Right.
Voters registration, Quimby's not here tonight. I know she was working with the supervisor of elections office, so we will still have hopefully still have the voters registration table that night, just like we did last year. It was very successful. As I told some of the parents, we had more, the Department of Elections, or the supervisor of elections office, is like, we had more people sign up in your 2-hour event than we have people sign up in a community day at the park for 8 hours. So,
Wow.
so we had over 27 or 28 people register to vote that day, both kids who are 16 and older. So once they're 18, they'll get mailed, as well as parents who had never registered. So, yeah, it sounds small, but when you reach those kids, it's important. Hi, how are you?
Sorry, I'm
No.
just a hot mess.
No, please.
This is the story of my life this year.
Hey, we feel ya.
Nope, she's digging in and we need that.
Exactly. Welcome,
This is
welcome, welcome.
Lucy.
Thank you.
Hi.
I'm Lucy.
Hi,
Nice to meet you.
Lucy. I'm
See you
Carolyn.
again. Hi.
Michelle.
Yeah,
We met in
Yeah,
Sass
Lindsay.
earlier.
Yep.
What's your name?
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Maybe
Yep.
you
You
look
look
familiar.
familiar.
Maybe from the DCC.
I haven't been there. Been on PTA at the Hendricks and
Oh,
Landon.
okay.
So
Crossover, but sure. Good to see
Yeah.
you.
So any other questions, concerns right now about College Showcase? Kristen, I know you especially, but you and I have a lot to do in the next couple of weeks prepping for that, leading up to that. If there's anything else you need, additional sign up geniuses, or if you don't think I put enough hands on deck or whatever, like, let me know and we'll add some more. Reflections update, Lindsay.
All
Lindsay. Let you take over, and then I'll bring up what I was gonna say.
okay, so we have posters to put around the school.
Woohoo!
I don't know where to put them,
Okay.
or I would love help putting them
I was
around.
just about to say I could meet you here. Do you have time
Okay.
during the day at all? Any days that you plan ahead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or she can give them to you.
Or, I mean, that form that I just shared with you, I was hoping to get it up on some more of the bulletin boards around, and I could just
Okay.
go ahead and
Thank
put these
you.
with it if that
Yep.
So I can just come.
We have that electronic.
We do.
And I sent an email last minute.
Mhm.
So I think I got it to communications also.
Okay.
So I think you route things to Mr. Fagan. So I do have a blurb for you to please put in the newsletter.
So we'll send that to you. So
And then
yes, I noticed you had sent me some social media. She like last minute, I'm getting ready to leave, and I see reflections, shared posts with you. Shared
Would you like to
information.
take one of these with you? Or-
As long as I have.
Okay.
Is that what I'm getting the?
It'll be similar.
yeah. I didn't do anything fancy.
You don't
I
need
got
fancy.
quarter sheets, so I didn't pay to have them cut, so I guess I will be cutting them.
I can, you can. I have a paper.
Oh.
At my work, we actually have one of the big old school ones
Oh
that
my
makes the
God.
sound.
So I was hoping my mom still had hers, but
Happy to.
are you sure?
Yeah, because
That's
it's at
15.
work.
Okay.
Yep, you got them printed. I'm happy to cut away. So along those lines, I had emailed
Thank
Mr.
you.
Barnes, hoping as like the department chair that maybe he would help me. And he responded, yes, you can come to my classes. I'm like, did you reach out to anybody else? So I had also messaged Miss Flores and she's like, oh, I noticed on your email, this person, and this person aren't included. And these two people aren't here anymore. I'm like, well, I went off the staff list that was on the webpage. So the only people I have committed right now is Mr. Barnes, who is willing to have us come in on the 18th and the 19th, which are the picture days. He said he liked the idea of us being there on the picture days since it's kind of an interrupted day anyway. And that Thursday and Friday. So if anybody is available Thursday and Friday, if we could tag team, I could try to be, I know mornings are hard for you because you've got drop off of all of the kiddos. So I'm happy to be here in the
So-
morning if that's best, if somebody else could take over, but it pretty much winds up being an all day thing because you'll pop in the first like 5 minutes of class, do your spiel, and then go to the next class, hopefully, if we can randomly knock on a few other teachers' doors.
So
and
does
see if they'll
Mr.
let-
Barnes have classes each period of those days?
He did not tell me which class, like when his planning period is. He just said you can pop in on the 18th and the 19th. When do you want to come? Okay, and then Miss Flores has one, like she's our creative writing
Yeah.
teacher, but she also has one general language arts English class that she said so she said she's happy to have us come to her A2 class, which would be on Friday. For us to speak to her students during that period, because that would be the seniors who have her for their dual enrollment English creative writing class. Or not creative, right? I should know what it is. My daughter's in her class. Whatever. It's the dual enrollment English class that the seniors are in. Yes, that one. So she has welcomed us on the 19th for A2, which goes from 10 to 11:25.
That would go well with the Mr. Barnes.
Right, because you can pop into him and then go over to her.
Mhm.
But I haven't heard from any of the other English teachers as to whether or not they would mind if we popped in. So I don't know, like, I can send them another email tomorrow and say, hey, in case you didn't get my first one, do you mind if we pop in? Probably not. Okay. And like I said, Miss Flores was so kind because she's like, I noticed you emailed this person. She's not here anymore. And you didn't email these two people, and they are. And I have one person I couldn't even find an email for, even through the county website. I'm like, I can't find their email. So,
That's my daughter's teacher. She's brand new.
okay, well,
And I
there you
can
go.
ask her.
So it's not just
Yeah.
me.
Don't ask me her name, but yeah, she just got switched. Yeah. She
Yes.
got switched into her class.
Right, so I will send that to you if you don't mind, because if we're here on campus, it's the same for me to spend 5 minutes talking to Mr. Barnes as it is for me to pop into each class consecutively and just give out the little slips. And I bought more candy. I have candy in the
okay.
car. So I mean, I buy Smarties and Dum Dums.
Do you need me to buy more? Or-
I think I bought like 300
Oh,
pieces of
okay.
candy. So I mean, we may need some more, but
Okay.
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and I
depending on how
still-
many, and you still have some too.
I don't have any
Or
more
no.
candy, but I'm to see Mr. Tron, Mr. Tran, who's,
Tron,
Tron.
yes, I still have to go back for those two more things.
Okay.
And I actually emailed him and I don't think I caught a reply yet. I was
Well, if we're gonna be here on the 18th and 19th,
That would be, that's
those
why.
days
I-
would be good if he,
I-
so,
The 18th would be very difficult. for
Okay.
me.
no, that's fine. I
Okay.
mean, that's why, like, we kind of tagged, like I said, I mean, I can definitely
But
be
I'll
here.
bring more candy.
Okay. So can you help that, like, if I cover like the first couple classes that day or the first and last, because I know the end of the day is rough for you too. So if I do like maybe first and last, can you do the middle two?
On
Maybe
Thursday.
on Thursday?
Yes, Thursday.
Okay,
I
so-
just, thank goodness, I just realized I signed up to do the field trip Friday.
Okay, so that would be, I would do B5 and B8. Oh, good. So I don't have to be here for B8.
No, PA, this
Oh, dang it.
When is
this
it?
is only.
On B day?
When is
no,
Okay, so,
on Friday, it's 1,
so A1. Okay, I mean, I can pop into German, but I don't think, I mean, he invited us for both days. He probably didn't care. The kids will possibly see us twice if we do both. Yeah,
sorry to interrupt.
so, okay, so for,
He takes his German.
yes, he does, yes, he does. So Thursday, I would only need to be here for B8 then. So that's even better,
Unless
So-
I,
unless you recruit more, right? If we get others to be here, then, like I said, I can cover the first of the morning and the last of the day. If you could get the middle 2 periods for me, just so I can at least get a little work done that day.
I could embarrass my daughter and go during her class on Friday.
Well, that's the other thing. She's got a field trip on Friday. So what's your availability like on Friday?
Morning is better, so then I
Okay.
don't have to tell work.
Okay. No, I feel ya. All right. So could you do like A1, A2?
Yeah.
And then I could do A3, A4?
Yes.
And I don't think.
Get coffee before
Stop.
the field trip.
Field trip, and relax before you spend the day with
Right.
400 crazy kids,
know.
especially middle
It's,
schoolers.
no, it's like their teeny tiny creative writing class. We're walking to the library together. I was like, can I come?
That's my kind of field trip.
downtown library?
Yeah. That's like what they do. They
Oh,
go for
That's
trips
my
to
They-
the
kind of
they-
library.
walk.
My
That-
daughter's
that's what I was
visual
thinking.
arts, and they
That's a
walked
long
all
walk
over
from
the
the villa.
place. They
Maybe
walked to
we
Friendship Fountain one time.
Mhm.
Like,
Past the courthouse?
I guess. I don't know the route. I'm about to find out.
Okay.
That's why I was like,
All
don't
right,
they
so I will send you that message and we will plan on having, like I said, on Thursday, I will be available
okay.
B5 and B8. Christy, if you can be available B6 and 7.
Remind me the time exactly, be 6
I'll
and 7.
have to look
Okay,
up the,
thank you.
the
I can ask
schedule.
my kid.
Actually,
I can ask
So
the
my
kid.
email basically wants to say.
please, yeah, please.
Yeah.
Well,
I
then,
love that.
then it
I
works.
love that.
Well, then everybody gets their class interrupted on picture day.
Here's the times.
She looks
I printed the
familiar.
schedule this year because I never know it.
And every time I,
Oh my
It's come
goodness
up.
gracious.
I almost just asked you.
There's, yep. All right, so I'll forward that to you.
And I work at a
Anyway,
I
we
won't
did
be
that.
able- I have a
Poster
principal
flyers,
meeting
you've got,
Thursday, so
the
I don't
only
have
other
to-
thing we need to work on to go ahead and start lining up is our judges
Yeah.
committee.
And I realized I was digging through the how to do it. I read something that says like we have to register to do it.
I think I already did. I
Okay.
mean, like on National PTA and said we
Yes.
will be participating. I've already
Okay,
done it.
okay.
If you need the copy of the email, let me know. I'm sure it's buried in my,
If you want to forward it,
okay.
then maybe we can keep it in the reflections folder, I guess. But
You got it.
all right.
Sorry,
No,
back
go
to
ahead.
stuff.
No.
The picture that I'm-
Okay.
So.
That would be awesome. And then we don't
didn't
have to
to
try to
walk
run
across the
around.
last year's
Yeah, the only class we have to go physically visit is Miss Flores because her seniors won't be doing pictures. Since that's a dual enrollment for most, and I think it's all seniors this year. Picture process. That would be awesome. And that would make it
Do
easier
you
for
need me
us.
to get more prints since
How many do you have?
we got
I don't remember how
75?
many.
There's 4. I did 300, so there's 4 on each.
Probably need, because seniors, there's what, 170 in the senior class, or not even that many? 220, so we would need, and there's 900 kids, so we need at least 700.
Okay.
Sorry. I wasn't sure how many, at the time I gave you counts, I wasn't
Yeah.
sure how many teachers were gonna let us show up, because
The
I hadn't
UPS
heard from
stores
them.
right across the street from my house. so-
Okay, yeah, if you bring them all,
And I'll pay them to cut them since it'll be tomorrow.
I also have my little small cutter at home, because I'm a scrapbook person, so I can bring that if you want, but it's up to you. No, I don't think so.
No, I think I'm gonna keep it simple.
That way it's nice and quick and we don't take up too much. They get candy, they get their flyer, we'll talk about, I mean, we could do a projector and show them what Reflections is. I think there's a promo video, but I haven't watched it to see how long it is.
I mean, I could also dig in the drive and throw them in like a Canvas slideshow so people can see what happened last year, maybe. I don't know.
I didn't want to
Not
keep them too long because I don't want the
Maybe,
teachers to
yeah.
hate me. Yeah, let's keep it simple.
Like just, okay, candy. Do you
Mhm.
want me to write a quick little script?
That's up to you. I usually wing it, but.
Okay. I'm-
I wing it and then I go, dang, I told A2 something I forgot to tell A3. Better or worse, it depends. I found that when I was a teacher too. Like I'd be like, man, I forgot to tell first period that. Second period got my best stuff. Like it happened. PTA grants, like I said, I am working on the youth engagement capacity building grant with DA for Change. There are other smaller grants. That is a $5,000 grant. There are other smaller grants that are a different branch of National PTA, so you can apply for multiples. Now, under the programs branch, which are the ones that are tied to specific national PTA, like exact programs, like we're going to use your national PTA program to do XYZ. Those you can only get one. You can apply for all of them, but you'll only get one. They'll only select you for one. So if there are 10 of those and there's 5 that high schools are eligible for, and we want to put in for all 5, we can put in for all 5 and hope that we get 1 out of the 5 maybe. If we get one of those, we can still get the youth engagement grant because it's a different funding. It's separate from the traditional national PTA grants. So I know at one time Heather and Christy and Kristen and I had talked about, writing those. I don't know if anybody else has followed through or has, had the time to follow through, but if anybody is willing to do a grant write-up and wants the information, I'm more than happy to handle them. The youth engagement one, because it's such a big one, is pretty involved. It has, like I said, 6 or 7 different elements in the grant write-up that have to be addressed. Most of the program funding grants are like a 3-element write-up because you're using like an existing program from National PTA. So unlike the capacity grant where we're writing the program and coming up with it from scratch, this is saying how you would use it. So for example, there's one that, they give some examples of, we're going to host donuts and whatever 3 mornings a month, or three mornings to bring parents into the school to talk about mental health, or to talk about whatever, or to talk about internet safety. Like there's ones that are about technology and safety. And so, you say, we're going to, as part of our general meeting in January, we're going to have a presenter talk to the families about internet safety. And we're going to present Florida PTA 2 years ago had a video that they, like a full length movie they drafted. We're going to show the parents this movie during it. Talks about internet security. And that's your grade. So those are much smaller write-ups, much smaller. They still have a full rubric for you to help you target what you're doing or align what you're doing to put your best foot forward. The good thing about those is if you submit for them, you automatically get $100. So even if you don't get it $100, that could be used in any way you want.
Wow.
Is worth it. When we're talking
Just
about,
the specific high school.
there are ones that are K to 12 under National PTA, and then there are ones that are just for elementary, and then some others that
Yeah,
are
but
just
the
for high
ones where you
school.
just get $100. Those must be the high school.
No, any of them. Yeah, any of them. So if you go onto National PTA's
Yeah.
grant page, any of the ones that are under the general funding, there are ones for all grade levels, and then one specific to elementary and middle. And you still, if you put in for the grant. Now, I don't know if you put in for 5, if you're going to get $500, or if they're only going to give you 100. But hey, I'll take 100. You know, I mean, any little bit to help the kids and help what we do with them. You know, $100 is $100. I mean, I'll take $100 business membership. I'll take $100 check from the National PTA any
I
day.
just entered us
So,
into some Florida.
yeah,
PTO
so
thing for
if
another-
anybody is interested in doing, they are due by September 24th at midnight. So if you're interested in doing a write-up for one, you've got about a week left. And that's why I'm trying to fine tune the DA for change, this bigger one that we're working on, because I need time to give everybody at least some chance to give me some feedback.
Do you want me to do a small one? A
If you
small,
don't
easy
mind.
one? Yeah,
Yeah.
send it to me.
Just, yeah, text us what you start working on. 'Cause then if I find
Okay.
it, just, you know, like in that group thing,
Yeah.
just be like, hey, I'm grabbing this one, I'm looking at
Okay.
it. That way, if I
Yeah.
find time.
I'll
pick a
send you
different
I'll
one.
email you the link to,
Okay.
to National PTA, as well as, they sent some resources. And Lucy, if you want to share your email with me, I'm happy to share the, because some of the information they sent me after the I sat in on a meeting last week for the youth capacity grant. And so some of the information they sent me is very specific to that grant, but some of it's also just general about ideas and about grant writing and things to consider. So I'm happy to share that if you want to
Right, I
send
was
me your
denied
email
the one I
address.
did last year. I don't receive $100, so
Yeah, you do. You do. I don't know if that's new this year that
yeah,
they, you know,
I've never heard
and
that.
it also, yeah,
I did get a phone call.
actually, I think I did, which is
Yeah.
funny because we didn't submit a grant last year. We were drowning because we were all new. We didn't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we got anything
Do you want me to write
done.
my email?
Yeah. Put it here with the grants. Um, So yeah, but there's, I mean, especially since kind of our push has been mental health. Granted, we're already writing up one for mental health, but there is one specific to a national PTA mental health program that they provide you with all of the programming materials and everything else, and you just say how you're going to use it. So that kind of ties in a little bit to what we already have, the push we already have. But like I said, there's ones on, you know, like internet safety and and online cyberbullying and other type programs. And some of them are specific to high schools, others are all grade levels, others are specific to elementary. So you just have to look. I believe in the email that they sent me, she identified which ones are for high schools to make it easier for us in one of the attachments. So I'll send that to you as well.
Wasn't there a couple for um, safety, like there was some, not the kaleidoscope thing, but there was like something I remember. My
Pedestrian
eyes.
safety was
What was it?
pedestrian
Safety, but there was something for like,
There is a diversity inclusion one, I think,
Pedestrian
that
safety.
because National PTA is like to the to the anti to the anti DEI. So there is still, I believe, a DEI related one, or you know, so there are some really good programs there. And communications update, we've got quite a few items for Mr. Fagan's newsletter, so we'll make sure we get those out to him this week. Awards update, Lindsay, I know you and I had talked about the Right Foot Award. How is that going? Or do you need help or
I
support with
should
that?
be good. I was gonna get reflections
Started.
launched, and then because the deadline's November 15th,
Oh,
I want it
perfect.
wrapped up by then.
Gotcha.
The right foot award is November.
I'll double check.
yeah, I think that.
When is November?
I think the reflections is due November 2nd, and I thought our due date was before that, so that it was all.
No, Reflections isn't November 2nd because our due date is
Maybe
October
Reflections
29th.
is November
Reflections is
15th.
November 15th, I think. So
Like
Right
I
Foot
was
should be
gonna knock
earlier.
out the award like this week. Like
Mhm.
I wasn't gonna.
Yeah, just let me know if you need
Okay.
anything for it.
November 1st.
Okay.
Is right.
School of Excellence, we need to work on
Okay.
starting that and kicking that off. So,
Okay.
maybe you and I can chat about
That
that, and
sounds
I'll
good.
kind of lead you into how I bumbled my way through it last year
Did you
somehow.
get the email that we were getting sent out? in
Yeah,
that
we'll
or-
get the packet, we'll get our new banner and everything from this year. I don't know how I managed to pull off that last year because it was one of those, it's like, what's a hump? What am I doing? What do I need to write up? What do I need?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I wing and a prayer. So you and I will work on that,
Yeah.
Lindsay. I'll kind of get you started. I honestly don't know how much I saved of what I did because it was such an on the fly, oh my God, it's due in 2 days. I need to get it done immediately kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but I'll send you what I have or share the drive of what I have and then we'll figure it out together.
Okay.
Arts area updates. Dance has Kaleidoscope on September 27th. That's the talent competition. So if you've never attended, it is still Kaleidoscope. It is still Kaleidoscope. All my friends who are alums are like, oh my God, I can go up.
And they don't, do they have coffee house still for creative writing?
They do. Yep. Creative writing still has Coffee
I
House.
love the
Dance still has
Coffee House.
Kaleidoscope.
And when is that again?
Kaleidoscope is on 9/27. Fall dance concerts, just so you're aware, if you're interested, are on the 9th and the 10th and then of October. And homecoming is the 11th. And then that leads us straight into college showcase. So we're going to be running on a wing and a prayer. Visual arts. I know Heather's not here. Usually she's kind of our feed in for what they have going on. Any other arts area updates, like any performances coming up that you want us to note in the minutes or?
Is, October for their first.
Kristen, when is the importance of being earnest?
September 25th to the 28th. So next weekend in the Dubo.
All right.
October 9th is Bella's first orchestra concert.
No.
They must have changed something.
Full concert for vocal is October 20th.
Yeah, double check that date because we're always in the Dubo, but so are you guys, aren't
Yeah, there's been times we've been elsewhere,
you? Okay.
but definitely not at JU. This time,
Oh,
let me
yeah.
check that.
Mr. Fakins, are you ready? I know I've put you off like for an hour now.
Sorry.
You're good. I'll be brief, but first and foremost, thank you for the showcase. The showcase was a great. Recently attended.
Yeah.
We got to take it back off.
Yeah, I felt like I had the big cane coming out for me. Like, get off the stage.
So, had the ribbon cutting ceremony last week. Different arts areas of art.
That would be
Talking to other arts. Work. Because the elements are different.
Mhm.
Light, sound.
Yeah.
So just having that opportunity is truly going to be. We are continuing to audition students. Our enrollment's a little low right now. So we're trying to with the total enrollment fall now. Students every quarter. There's a new, so do you remember, hopefully everybody in this room and online did the 5 Essentials survey last year? So there's no no more 5 essentials. Now it's going to be ed elements in October. So it's going to be October. So you'll get emails about that. Fourth,
Can you guys hear him? Do I need to move you closer? Sorry. I was
No, you
afraid of
can't.
that. They can't hear you. You're so quiet.
Hello.
Can you hear him now?
Okay. So the last thing I said was there's going to be a new survey for parents, students, and staff, October 6th through the 17th. So I'll send the link to you guys so we can push it out through PTSA as well. We need at least 20% of parents to fill it out to get a report. So we want to make sure we do that. We had state testing today for 9th and 10th grade, PM1, progress monitoring 1. It is the first of 3 series of assessments that the state has students take for reading. It doesn't count for anything other than just simply monitoring their progress. We had, and considering we've only had a month of instruction, 65% of our 9th graders are already proficient and 75% of our 10th graders are proficient. So we're definitely on a good track. And lastly, the U.S. News and World Report always ranks high schools across the nation. And Douglas Anderson, out of 24,000 high schools, nationally is ranked 425. So that's top 1% nationally of high schools across the nation. And that's all academic, it has nothing to do with the arts. So when we say we're arts and academics being excellent, that's where we can show academically we're also excellent. And that's all I have for tonight.
Any questions for Mr. Fagan since we have him as a captive audience?
Yes.
School zone light on Spring Park was not working recently. I was told that the free to call the city
Yes.
to just request, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
Absolutely.
Was it
It's
working
Only
again?
be on in the morning, it's only on in the morning. But I don't. Is it the season light?
The one, like when I was coming north on Spring Park, towards like people, it just wasn't on.
So,
But that was a few days.
Oh,
I mean,
I
it could
come
have.
from,
Yeah.
so, and it's like tucked away in the, but in the, like, the last 2 mornings, it's
Okay.
so it also could depend on.
I think it is more of
Because
that.
more toward, geared towards that and. Yeah, so that's what it is, well.
It would still be on. Roadway. I mean,
I think that's solar sense.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was gonna say, it gets overgrown.
I
The trees
honestly,
there
one day it
cover
wasn't
the
on
top
and
of
I
it.
didn't realize that the tree was covered. And then
Right.
all of a sudden I saw the light on.
So if
Oh,
I
I
just
feel
put it, if I
stupid.
call and have, they'll come out, they'll inspect, they'll see it's encrypted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'll
You
just
can
call.
call that non-emergency number. I always call it trim, mow lawn, everything, because you can tell the difference.
Oh, yeah.
So that non-emergency number, they'll put a ticket in. It doesn't tell them.
Any other business? Kristen and Cam, I don't know if you can hear me. Any other business, anything we haven't covered?
They're shaking.
No?
I do have a question.
Sure.
I don't know anything about this, but somebody in our carpool wanted me to ask
Okay.
about the arts entrepreneurship program.
The business ownership?
I think so. And
Mhm.
is it art specific, and if it's being implemented?
I don't know if we're talking about, is it a course that we have here?
I know that.
I don't know.
I had heard that there was business course
Yes.
for the music side.
Yes. Is
But it's
that-
just in music?
No, we have other students. in there. It's not just
Okay.
music, yeah.
I think this
The
one
music
has a
teacher
visual
teaches
art
it, but-
student.
So we have a arts entrepreneurship course where students are learning how to the business side of the arts, how to market themselves, how to promote themselves, if they wanted to start their own arts business at high school, kind of tips on that.
So it's a class that they probably take as an upperclassman, I'm assuming.
Usual. Like, but our cinematic arts, like, they'll do it a lot.
And is it a course within the art program? Like, is it a different class if if you're a vocal student? Is it a
No.
different class? It's just one,
Just one general.
so it's not art specific.
I think it's so great that y'all had it.
It was a tough sell at first.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted in that class. Not at all.
Really?
Well, they saw it's titled business ownership, so they're like, well,
Yeah.
but we spun it, because it's offered district-wide, and it really is just a business ownership.
Yeah, but so many of these kids, I mean, whether they're selling, whether they're a visual arts student who's selling their art at a craft fair or whatever, or learning how to market it to get into a gallery. I mean, those are, and so many of our dance students want to become studio owners or
Yeah,
studio
I'm kinda
instructors
surprised
or
It was a lot to. that people didn't want it.
How you can do
combine.
art and, I don't know, I wish that had been. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever have like people come to that class? Because I actually had somebody still an actress.
We haven't yet, but we're open to, I mean, this is only the second year we've offered it, so.
She said that she would actually love to speak. She just was asked to speak at this.
Okay.
But she just loved to teach them exactly that, what they need reality wise to go out and become something. She said that it was a lacking thing. So I mean, I could give something.
Absolutely, yeah, Mr. Citrone is the teacher, but I could certainly, Citrone,
Sorry, I'm so bad.
Is that with a
Teacher
C or an
names?
S?
Like the columnist from Florida. From a long time
Oh,
think you
that's
did.
John Citron.
that's
Right?
John, that's
Yeah.
our, that's
Yeah,
my
maybe
teacher.
it is the same guy.
ago. Yeah.
All right, Kristen and Cam, thank you for sticking with us through this. I will, oh, go ahead.
I can have one quick update. Songwriting does have Amplify Avondale on October 21st. And that is a nice, where they have this nice place, wine place in Avondale.
And,
Go
and
ahead.
orchestra is October 9th, but I think they had to go elsewhere because
Yeah.
of the dance concert. I
Okay.
heard it.
Yeah, no worries. All right, Kristen, I have a couple things I'll reach out to you for, and then if you need anything from me, Cam, if you'll let me know if you need anything for your walk around to take a look at that area for the site prep, I'm happy to meet you here or just, whatever, or to just hear from you once you're done of what you think we need. But once again, thank you guys so much for making the time to be here with us tonight. We've got a really busy, as busy as it feels like this first month of school has been, it's about to get worse. So make sure you're resting, taking your vitamin C and your echinacea, and don't let theater run you too ragged, Kristen, because I need you to. All right, bye guys, thanks.